Hi, I'm Tim from Pixels and Pinball. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Jurassic Park home pin. A lot of people ask me about it, ask me like how does it differ from a Pro model, for example. So I'll go over some of the cool things, I'll go over some of the things that are different, and hopefully you'll get a sense of how these more inexpensive games could be something that you might want to have in your house.
The first thing that stands out is really the height. You can see that the back box is a few inches smaller. The play field is the same size. The cabinet is, I believe, the same size as well. Just the back box is a little shorter, and actually that comes in handy when you have when you're trying to put it into a space with low ceilings, like for example in a basement, a rec room or something like that. I've installed these in places with low ceilings and it's come in handy. Let's take a look at the translate. Hopefully you can see this and there's not too much reflection. It's a lot like the LE. I would say it's not the same, but it's very similar. I think there's a few differences in terms of the dinosaurs are the same, but the Jeep, I believe, is facing a different way in the LE. But anyway, it's very similar. It's a really cool translate. Here's the side of the back box. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. The artwork is great. I actually prefer the artwork on this over the premium, for example. It's just got a pretty sweet look. It's actually that side is kind of similar to the premium cabinet art. Here's a premium. So it's one side is very similar. The other side is slightly different. Here's the play field. Most of you have probably seen the play field. We'll talk a little bit about that later. And as everyone knows, the screen is much smaller. It's a smaller LCD. And when you compare it to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Pro model there, you can see the difference. Let's move down to the front of the cabinet. You can see there's no start button, there's no coin mechs. It is geared to the home model. The plunger, the shooter rod is different. That's pretty nice. Got a start button up here that starts the game, and you can see here that there are nuts. That is holding the leg bracket plate in place. As some of you might know, the cabinet, and you can see it here where the graphic doesn't come all the way over. The cabinet's made of MDF. So you can't really screw into MDF, so they have these that come through so the screws can go into that. I'm going to take off the lockdown bar. It's similar to Pros. You get the latches on the sides. You can see there's the connector here. It doesn't just pull away like in a standard lockdown bar. That's slightly different. Now if you can see that from there. You try to get close here so you can see it. There's the plug for the lockdown bar. You can also see maybe that that these don't actually fit into something. They just kind of slide in, and then that's how you lock it down. All right, now we'll get a little close up here. You can see where this, I don't know, what do you call this rail here. It doesn't quite fit up against or underneath the lockdown bar. Can you see that? Same thing on the other side. And there's a slightly different gap here. That can be adjusted.
So this will move around with the glass out. So if you take the glass out, and actually I'll actually do that. I'll remove the glass, I'll remove the lockdown bar, slide this down and see if we can bring that gap in. And this isn't unique to this particular game or this particular machine. I've seen this in other ones that I've set up. So let's, I'm gonna put the video down and I'll show you. Okay, so I've removed the lockdown bar, removed the glass, and now you can see I can move these back and forth. So I can adjust this to where it might have a better gap. Now you don't have a lot of room to work with. There are these stops, I don't know if you can see these little stops for the glass to go against. So you can only go so far. There's also a little bit of milling here on the corner. So what we'll do is we'll kind of do some trial and error where we'll put this in here. We'll have it fit as far as it'll go. All right, so now that's as far as it'll go, and there's really no gap. The tricky part is getting the glass back in. So what I'd recommend is having someone hold these in position while you slide the glass back in. That way they won't move up. The glass won't take them up as you're moving it up. All right, so I put the glass back in, and we're gonna get close here. You can see the gap has been eliminated on this side, and it's been eliminated on this side. So if you bring it home and you see that gap, that can be adjusted. It's just something that, you know, it might take a little trial and error, but it's not hard to do. All right, so let's look at the play field a little bit. The play field is made out of MDF, and it's attached to the cabinet slightly differently. If you can see this, there's a nut that holds the play field down. I believe that's a 7/16. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off so we can get underneath the play field. I'm gonna need two hands, so I'm gonna pause this for a sec. All right, so I got that nut off, and now this bolt should pop out. Again, I'll need two hands. All right, I got the nut out. Now we'll come under here and just lift this up. It's a heavy play field. There are legs like in the on a typical pro. You can see right here. Slide this along till we. That's kind of nice. There's no. It would help if I took the balls out, wouldn't it? Now let's get those balls. All right, now I got the balls out. It's very smooth sliding out. So as you can see here, the rails are, instead of metal, they're made of wood. But they're kind of nice because they run all the way down, and it's pretty smooth moving the play field up. So here's the underside of the play field. Looks pretty standard spike system. All right, as you can see in this cabinet, the front has this plastic cover where the coin box would be. So we can't really see the leg brackets too well. Maybe I can see it here. You can see where the bracket is actually screwing in from this side. So Here's our bolt. It's going through. And it's attaching to the bracket, keeping that nice and sturdy. Let's see if we can see it on the back here. Get a sense of it right there. All right, one other thing that's kind of unique about the play field or the game as a whole is, if you can see here in the shooter lane, typically the wood is carved out here, and the ball lands and it gets into a groove. The MDF is not carved out because carving out MDF doesn't work so well. So they put these metal channels, kind of like metal rails, to guide the ball. So I assume so that the plunger will strike the center of the ball. That's different. It's unique. Here's the play field. I don't think I've covered that yet. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of videos on Stern's website showing the ball paths, the gameplay. So I recommend you checking those out. Overall, it's a pretty fun game. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.